Now, since I'm blessed with your time, I will be making sure that we all grab at least one hack that will make our life at least 1% better today. Good afternoon. My name is Rita Mendonça, and my topic for today is the subtle art of just being. So, we have heard of Maun Vrat, that is the vow of silence. And this was it. That was Monbrat. A quick show of hands. How many of you felt the urge to do something? Whether it was to check your phone, to clear your throats, to look at each other, maybe smile awkwardly, or even wonder if I've forgotten my lines. And how many of you felt slightly uncomfortable or a little discomfort? And how many of you felt nothing at all? Okay, good. Because whatever you felt just now is exactly the point. The moment we stopped speaking, our minds did not go quiet. In fact, it got louder. Thoughts showed up, emotion showed up, interpretation showed up, and a little discomfort showed up as well. And I feel that is why we tend to avoid silence. We assume that silence means nothing is happening. But in fact, silence is when everything starts to happen on the inside. And that is why we tend to avoid it. Now, we tend to blame our phones a lot for our attention span and for our focus, of course. And sure, we should be blaming them because they're too loud. They keep buzzing, it keeps distracting us from our goal. And sometimes we also get caught up in the occasional doom scrolling. But the bigger issue here is not the phone. The bigger issue is that we have turned every human experience into a project, even rest. So, initially, rest used to be a state. Today, rest is not a state. We execute rest, right? We turn it into a checklist so that our mind can actually believe that it is allowed. We let ourselves believe that we are allowed to go ahead and take a rest. So, think about it. We don't wash our face anymore. We do skincare. We do step one, step two, step three, sunscreen, serum, moisturizer, night routine, morning routine. And I'm not saying that skincare is bad. In fact, I love a good skincare myself. I'm just saying that it's a little fascinating if you think about it. Because sometimes we are not even doing skincare for our skin anymore. We are doing skincare for us to believe that, okay, look at me, I took the time out, I did self care, and I rested. And we've made rest productive so that it feels justified. Same thing with everything else. Once again, we are going to look at this. We don't eat, we track protein and carbs. We don't walk, we make a streak and we complete steps. We have stopped breathing, now we do breath work. We don't meditate anymore. We have a journal, we have a timer, and we manifest. Um, we don't sit anymore. We would like to meditate. So we have taken things that were naturally regulating and we have turned them into goal oriented motives. So when we are relaxing, a part of our brain is still on duty. And when the mind is always on duty, silence does not feel like peace anymore. In fact, it starts feeling like discomfort because we are not just overstimulated by noise, we are overstimulated by decisions and attention. Every ping, every reel, and every billboard. So imagine this, we buy a phone because the camera is good. Now, because the camera is good, we are going to take hundreds of pictures, one event, many angles, different lightings, no pause, right? But eventually, the camera says memory full. Nothing went wrong here. It just never got a break. And I'm not talking about phones here. I'm, in fact, talking about our mind. This is exactly what is happening to our mind right now. Hence, Mon Vrat was practiced. We're going to quickly just have a run through of how Maun Vrat started. So, in ancient Indian tradition, Maun Vrat was never about punishing speech. It was, in fact, about disciplining it. So, silence was practiced, but it was practiced intentionally at a specific time for a specific reason. So, it could be before a decision, it could be during transitions, or even when the external noise is so loud that we make our internal noises louder. That's the voices in our head. So the belief was simple. When speech, when speech reduces, mental clutter reduces and mental clarity increases. So Maun Vrat was basically practiced in three layers. Again, we are going to walk through it very quickly. The first layer was stopping the physical movement of the tongue. That is no talking. Welcome to my talk. The second layer is a little deeper. That is total stillness. No gesture, no writing, not even nodding. Because they believed that even expressions, they leak energy. And then finally, the third one, that is the Mahamon, the most difficult one that is there. Here, we are stopping the internal chatter, and this is when it stops being a ritual and it starts becoming a technology that we can use. The people that practiced Mon, they believed that it was to gain siddhis. Now, siddhis are known as supernatural powers, right? But my parents in a debate told me that that's not it. It, in fact, are internal abilities. Think about it. The ability to pause before reacting, the ability to notice emotions around you, and the ability to stay steady while everything around you is moving really fast. Today, we call it emotional regulation in psychological terms, but back then they called it wisdom. And honestly, in 2026, I think that is still a supernatural power. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because our brain, like I said, is always overstimulated. And when our brain is constantly stimulated, it starts externally focusing. It starts reacting, scanning, interpreting. We keep judging, right? And constant stimulation, it activates the amygdala, keeping you in a fight or flight mode. Now, to understand the amygdala, you can think of it as the guardian angel, right? The guardian angel that sees you doing something wrong and says, no, 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 but you still land up doing the wrong thing, that one. But think of this guardian angel as someone who's taken their job a little too seriously. That is, it will react first and then it will understand what it's done. So it was designed to protect you from danger, but it doesn't wait to hear the whole story. So usually when we are impulsive, that is our amygdala being active. That's why you are stressed even when you're sitting on your sofa because you believe that you're in a fight or flight mode. When you practice Maun Vrat, you're directly impacting the prefrontal cortex. Think of it as the CEO of the brain. Now, silence, it activates the brain's default mode network. This is like the employees that work the night shift. They come in at night, um, and while everything is quiet on the outside, they go ahead, they organize your files, they're processing events, they're seeing how the day went, and they're also going ahead and making sure that you don't make the same mistakes again. But by further practicing silence, you activate something known as the parasympathetic nervous system. We can call it the HR of the brain, the part that tells you that danger is gone, you're safe now, everybody can calm down. It gives you the go basically. So, can you imagine feeling at peace when the world around you is extremely chaotic? So you're not relaxing anymore. You're in fact doing a whole system reboot. And that is why clarity often shows up in moments like when you're taking a shower or a few seconds before you go to sleep. Because for once, you're not overstimulated. And for once, you're not interrupted by the external force. Now, I used to be an impulsive, semi aggressive child. And my nanny used to say something very simply. She said, okay, now let me get this right. She said, Chimu, the biggest battles are fought with chaos, but they are won with silence. And as a child, I thought she wanted me to stay quiet because she did not want the arguments to go further. And I was a fighter, right? So I thought that is it. But as an adult, I understand what she meant. She actually meant that clarity doesn't come from reacting faster or louder. It actually comes from knowing or pausing long enough to know where you can spend your energy. That is why I am wearing her sari here today to honor the kind of strength that does not need any announcement. That being said, later, while studying, I came across a research from Duke University. It was conducted on mice that suggested that even 2 hours of silence can lead to neurogenesis. That is the birth of neurons in your hippocampus, which is responsible for memory and emotional regulation. So when Nani said that biggest battles are fought with chaos, but they are won in silence, I don't think she was being poetic. I think she was in fact talking about neuroplasticity before it even became a word. And I feel like it says that all of this, it means that silence isn't empty. It's in fact active, right? The study, even though on mice, I think the human brain is a little more complex than that. But like I said, I believe that it stated something very important, that silence is active. Now, to wrap things up, as promised, the one hack that will make your life 1% better. It's something that even I practice in middle of sessions so that I can ground myself. Are you ready? I call it the pause technique. Very quickly, all of us are going to go ahead and pause. Bas, statue. That's it. No immediate movements. Go ahead and find a comfortable space. Make yourself comfortable in the place that you're sitting. And I want you to take a deep breath in, dropping your shoulders, allowing yourself to calm down. Now take a moment and look around. Look at the stage, look at the lights, look at the ambience. And while looking, look at it with your mind and not your eyes. I want you to actually feel it. Break down everything that you're seeing. Break it down to the ground level. I want you to feel the temperature. I want you to feel the texture of the clothing that you're wearing. Feel the texture of the chair. If you're sitting in the crowd, look at the chair in front of you. Break it down to ground level. You can look at the stage. When we're breaking it down to ground level, what we're looking at is who has made this stage? Who has made these chairs? How much work did they put in? How did they come up with the idea of something like this? What all materials were used? Where did they get this raw material from? While we're looking at all of this, I want to acknowledge something. We, right now, right, we have gone ahead and done something that has not been done before. So, congratulations. You just did something that beginners actually struggle with. So, typically, when someone first starts to meditate or focus, their attention span or focus can last from 10 to 15 seconds before their mind starts drifting. And yet, all of y'all lasted more than that 10 to 15 seconds. Thank you.